Hello everyone, Mike Rempel from Another Set of Eyes with today's Excel Bytes blog post. Today we're going to take a look at the combination of max and if functions. And we're also going to incorporate the index function along with the columns function. So let's take a look and see how we can use all four of these functions to find values within an array. Here we go. Here's our scenario. We have 7 different production lines, the 5500, 6000, etc., all the way through the 3700 line. And we have 105 different parts. And there's 15 parts that are used within each production line. And what I want to find out is by selecting the part number, I want to know which production line it belongs to. So just to make it simple, I created all the part numbers to begin ABC dash and then just numbered 1 through 105. So up in this area, all I have to do is enter the last digits of that, and this formula will concatenate those two with the ABC dash, so it'll automatically enter my part number. So if I put 40 in here, I get ABC-40, and it tells me it's in the 8550 line. So if I look at number 40, you can see it is the 8550 line, and that'll be the case for any one of these. So just to make this simple as we go through the process, I'm just going to use part number ABC-1 so it's easy to find in our formulas as we walk through them. So we're going to use the index function, which returns the value of an element in a table and array by giving the row and column indexes. And there's the syntax for that: array, row number, column number. Now, one point about the index function: if the array contains only one row or column, the corresponding row or column is an optional argument. And since our array is just going to be the row number 1 with the line numbers in it, we will only be using one argument, which is actually the column, but we only have to enter that one argument and not the alternative row argument. Max just returns the largest number in a set of values, and the syntax for that is just max and the numbers of that array or set of values. The if statement returns one value if a condition is true, the other if it's false. So it's this logical test, the value of true and the value of false. And then our columns just returns the column number of the given cell reference, and the syntax for that is column and then reference. So here is our formula. It's going to be the index formula, and the array for the index formula is A1 through G1, which is our list of line numbers. And then the column number in this case is the max, if, and column statement that determine which column is going to be used in that array A1 to G1 for the index function to determine which column that part number is in. The last point I want to make before we start walking through the formula is that this formula is an array formula. And you can see that by the curly brackets that surround the formula that we built. Now, you cannot enter those manually. You have to use the keyboard combination Control Shift and Enter instead of Enter when you process this formula. So for example, if I click in this formula and go into the edit mode and just hit enter, I get a value error. But if I click in it and hit Control Shift Enter, you can see it puts the curly brackets around my formula and gives me the proper result that I'm looking for. So let's walk through the formula step by step and see how Excel processes it. So the first thing we're going to do is see what the corresponding value is for K5. So if I highlight that and hit F9, you can see it says equals ABC-1, which is what we have in that cell K5. Next, I'm going to highlight the columns function, hit the F9 key, and you'll see it just returns 1 through 7 in curly brackets, so that's an array indicating the 7 columns of the data that we've highlighted there. Next, I'm going to take the if function, highlight that, and you can see we're saying if A2 through G16, which is my range, equals ABC1, then return the appropriate column number. So I'm going to hit F9, and what Excel does is returns a series of trues and falses. I'll move this out of the way here, and you can see that the very first one is the number 1, and that's why I made part number ABC-1 just so we can easily find it. So there's number 1 because we found a match in column 1, and all the rest are falses. So the next thing Excel will do is say, give me the max of all that number 1 and the falses. Hit F9 and you can see it returned number 1. So that is column number 1. So the last step is taking the index function, and we're going to take the index of A1 through G1, column 1, and the result of that is the 5500 series, which is in column A, which is column 1 of my range. I'm going to hit the escape key just to get back to our full formula, collapse the formula bar a bit. Now we could do the same thing by going into the Formulas tab and evaluate formula, and Excel will walk us through each one of the steps that we have here. The problem with this only is that it's just a small window and it's hard to see. And again, I can change this to anything else. If I change it to a 50, ABC 50 is right here, which is in the 9000 series, and it gives me my line number as 9000. And there you have it. I hope you like what you see. If you do like what you see here, please take a minute to share this post on your favorite social network. I can be found on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I hope you enjoy this. If you'd like to see more, please feel free to stop by my website, excel-bytes.com, and I hope you subscribe. So have a great day and happy excelling.